All right, so good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tyler Acevedo, and I am the Vice Chair for the Leadership Network. I'm very excited to have our guest speaker here today. As I mentioned, we are going to be recording this. If you have not yet, at the end of the session, if you could sign up on our contact sheet, we'll get you invited to our social intranet where we're going to be posting all of this content and other content that we have from the Leadership Network. So without further ado, you guys don't want to hear me talk. I would like to introduce our colleague, Alexander Flores. Take it away, Alex.
Thank you. Well, thanks. And I honestly don't know if they want to hear me talk either, though, but they're here, so I appreciate that. Thank you all for being here this afternoon. As Tyler was saying, my name is Alexander Flores. And we're going to talk about a little bit about leadership potential, right? Man, so when I first got approached by Tyler to do this, I was humbled because I don't have a leadership role here at Daimler Trucks North America, but I have roles outside of work, right? I'm a dad of 4 with 1 on the way. I've got 2 grandkids. I'm running for the state senate in Washington County, and I'm the board chairperson for a nonprofit organization, actually 2 of them. And so when we talk about leadership potential, I'm going to kind of discuss how I came up and what I've done since. And also just talk about what leadership potential really means, what it means to you, but what it really means to me. Essentially, what I want to make sure and do is kind of give you an idea of what I've done, and you don't have to do what I did. You don't have to go out and tell people what you heard today or anything. But if you do, please remember that it's about you and how you deliver your message every single day. So, again, I was 14 years old when I dropped out of school. I had to grow up kind of quick. Guys, I was 15 when my daughter was born. I never gave up. Never gave up on my family, my kids, or anything like that. I went back to school when I was probably 15, 16 and a half and got my GED because during that time they said, okay, once you're out, you're out. They were pretty strict about schooling. So age 16, here I am getting my GED, becoming a dad, and I've got a job. And funny enough, my first job was working at a liquor store because my stepdad knew the guy that was there. So here I am working as a box boy at a liquor store, right? So now, let me tell you guys, the liquor stores in California are a little different than liquor stores up here. Up here in Oregon, we have liquor stores, it's all strictly liquor or, beer and stuff, right? So in California, they have some groceries, so it's like going to a plaid pantry. But they call them liquor stores because they carry liquor. A few years went by, and essentially by 2004-ish, I had a nice job, but at that point they were like, hey, you need to go back to school again and get more education, because if you really want to make it in this world, you're going to have to get more educated. So at this point now, I have 3 kids. I have my twins, who are now 17, and I had my oldest, who is now 24. Going to school, working full-time, and having a family is not what I suggest. I would suggest you guys do what you can to finish school first and try to do it what people would call the right way, right? Is get your education, get to know people, get friends, and then potentially get a partner. Well, obviously I didn't do that. But now fast forward a little bit of time. I actually graduated with a business management degree in 2008. And I'm the first one that actually had a chance to go to college and got my bachelor's. My brother, one of my brothers, he was in the United States Marine Corps. But now I'm thinking, okay, what am I going to do? How am I going to get things done? Because I've got education now, right? And you figure, okay, that's it. Well, it's not. Back in 2009 or so, we had a recession where, we took a big hit as a my family and I. And I got laid off from from that employment where I was at. I worked at Oracle, which Sun Microsystems, which is now Oracle. We're working in a high-end service. But after being let go, man, it was tough. So what did I have to do? I had to do what's best for my family, right? My wife had just gone into medical school, and if you guys don't know, medical school is tough and expensive, man. So trying to keep my family afloat from all that stuff, I was trying to think outside the box. How do I get there? Where do I get the means and everything else, right? So we had a little bit of money stashed away. So I decided to open up a flea market style type business. So on Saturdays and Sundays, I would go to the Portland flea market, or I would do markets here in Hillsboro and try to resell stuff. It was a good business until the TV show started coming out, right? Flea market this and flea market that. So then that started to decline. At that point, I was actually very lucky to have found a job at Leupold and Stevens. And again, downturn. Luckily, again, for me and my family, we had a great opportunity that we had done a flea market style before. And I actually had opened up a little shop in Hillsboro. And we sold out of there. We took pictures, we did whatever we could and try to sell stuff on Craigslist, on Facebook, any kind of means, right? And then I felt so fortunate. I was persistent, not just in my education, not just with my kids, but I was a little persistent trying to find my way into Daimler. And I got very lucky. I feel very lucky to have found a spot with Sandy McKinney at first. I was working in the engineering cab department, which, again, very grateful for Sandy and her group. Sandy, you don't know how much it meant to me to get that job and my family, but the things that you've done and created for myself were tremendous. And I appreciate your opportunities and very thankful to have been in your group. So moving forward a little bit more as well, I ended up going to a group or a training was EDI. I see some members here of EDI. I see Jose, Chihao. So EDI is an Executive Development Institute group based out of Seattle. But their training was very different than any kind of training, any leadership training. Their training really opened you up to kind of make you feel like what's really inside. How can you help yourself help others? That was really their focus. And I had a chance to be part of a nonprofit organization up in Seattle, El Centro de la Raza. I was their marketing strategist along with a few of my cohorts up there. And I would travel up there, come back down. And again, it was a tremendous experience, and that sort of opened up the door for me to get into the nonprofit world. So this is about 5 years ago. I started exploring opportunities at Centro Cultural. They taught me so many different things: humility, perseverance, and to fight hard. The people who we serve are the people who are underserved, are the people that need most help, whether it be Latino or any kind of minority group they were in. Our goal is to help them come out of hardship. And our goal is to make sure that they come out close enough to be on their own. One of the other things that I learned, actually, I'm sorry, let me take that back. I'm gonna give you 3 key things that helped me. It's love, listen, and learn. Love, for me, it's been tough. I've had a lot of tough love. from growing up in gangs to not having a father. If somebody asked me last time, hey, who taught you how to shave yourself? I told them that YouTube did, because it's true. My stepdad, unfortunately, was a raging alcoholic. Luckily for my sisters, he had quit drinking. So love, man, sounds like such an easy word to say, but not so easy to love yourself sometimes. So when I say love, I'm talking about myself. How do I love myself? How do I know myself? How do I get to learn what love is inside of Alexander Flores? I went through another program called at Latino Network, which is a nonprofit here in Portland. It taught me just a little bit more about love. I don't know about you guys, but for me, once I started learning to love myself more, to understand others and love others and know others, it really helped me open up a lot more. So I got involved with Impact Northwest, and I talked to the kids, either in high school, middle school, and elementary, what it was for me growing up as a Latino, second generation American. The kids love it, They loved it. They said, we want more. And that right there really inspired me to just keep opening up more and more. And that's helped me tremendously. Now, what was the second one I said? Listen, right? You want to be able to listen to yourself, others. Sometimes it might not be the right thing, but I will tell you this. Had I not listened to my mom when I was a young buck to get out of the gangs, I probably wouldn't be here. I would probably be 6 feet underground, because that's where my life was going. If I didn't listen to my mom, my daughter's mom and her dad to say, hey, go back to school and get your GED, probably wouldn't be here at Daimler Trucks. If I didn't listen to my other coworkers, they pushed me, encouraged me to go back to school and get my bachelor's, I probably wouldn't be here either. Listening is sometimes a tough thing for me to do. I'm 41 years old. I'm kind of stubborn in my own ways. Some, not all, but some. If Mike has something to say, I know he's got a lot of knowledge about what our trucks and how they work inside and out. Listen to Mike if you get a chance. He's a good man. Listening to Sandy and her kind words. Sandy as a supervisor encouraged me, always gave me what I needed, telling me that I will be successful someday. Listening to those encouraging words. I've also heard the opposite. So right now, I'm running for the state senate in District 15 in Washington County. And all these people are telling me, hey, do you know that Democrats rule in this county? What are you doing running as a Republican? Why are you running? What's the point of you running? You know you're going to lose. But I tell them simply, it's this. If I had given up at the age of 14, if I had given up when my supervisors told me to go back to school, if I would have given up on my mom, I wouldn't be here. So now we move on to learning. Man, again, learning is so tough, man. Again, I'm 41 years old. Going back to school for me is like telling a kid he cannot have candy. It's like, get out, no way, I won't do it. But I have done it, right? I went back to EDI. They taught me a little bit about how to become a leader. I went back and I entered into a Latino network program that was teaching me how to interact. So we got to go around the state and talk to different people from different paths of life. But I'll tell you this, just like I tell every single kid, just as I'm learning here at Daimler every single day, whether it be how to make Daimler the greatest place to work, because I'm sure most of you think this is a great place to work, don't you? Okay, I hope so. Learning is going to be a key component for me to keep moving forward and be a successful person. Because every single day, I try to learn something new, and I try to provide some of those valuable skills of learning to my kids. I try to be a role model for my kids, my community, and those who surround me. Learning can bring and open up different doors in your life. Reaching the potential of your leadership is key. You have your own key to success. It's how you want to make it happen that's going to be the difference. I see around the room, and I see a lot of beautiful people. I see a lot of successful people. I see young, a little older, and a little older. And it's never, never too late to start learning. I'm going to end it on that, because that's just, I'm very thankful for your time, and I think we're going to open up to Q&A, right? If you guys want to ask me anything at all, I'm open. I'm an open book. That's something else I've learned to do, is to be an open book, because essentially, once I pass or die, or I can't take anything with me, right? And if you want to know a recipe on how to cook something, please ask me. It's all good.
He's got a killer salsa recipe that he won't tell you, though. I know.
Oh, that one I can't tell you. Yeah, you're right. Sorry.
So in your bid for public office, what are some of the leadership qualities that you're thinking bringing to the table to shine that makes you more qualified than your opponent?
Being assertive, being myself is first and foremost very important to me. I can't tell somebody else how to do what they need to do, right? And something else that sets me aside is the fact that I'm Latino, When we talk about Washington County, people always want to jump to say, well, what about Washington, D.C., and what's going on in D.C.? Well, we're not in D.C., we're in Washington County. And what we do is way different than what Washington, D.C. is doing. So.
So when you need to focus or feeling overwhelmed, especially with as much as you have on your plate, in addition to the day job, what do you do to handle those type of things to kind of keep yourself balanced?
I remind myself of where I came from. And then I take walks. Take a breather. Whatever it is to get you out of your element, to get you out of that moment. If it's getting on your phone and playing Pokemon Go, sure, do it, right? If it's going up to Jose, I need to go for a walk, do it. There's always going to be somebody next to you that you can talk to, rely on, right? Talk to them. Kind of relax.
No matter how good anybody is, or how well you do things, this is just my philosophy, and I need to get over it. There's always going to be stupid people, like I said, no matter how good you are, you're still going to run into those people. How do you have patience with them and still try and help them.
Even stupid people have good questions. That's what I say. Because, yeah, well, no, it's because it's, I'm serious, right? For instance, if somebody were to ask me, hey, where's your district? And I tell them, Cornelius, Forest Grove, North Plains, Hillsborough, and parts of unincorporated Washington County. Well, what's incorporated Washington County? What is that? Some people don't know that. To me, it may have sounded like, oh man, that's just another silly question. But to them, it's truly something that they don't know, right? So I have to remind them, it could be aloha, right? So there's no stupid question in my book.
Hi, it's me again.
Hi, me again.
So I was kind of intrigued by your relating to some of the people that have been influential in your lives, especially some of your colleagues here. What for you would be perhaps the most meaningful mentor moment that you would have where somebody actually dug deep into your business and then said, hey, here, let's get out of it together and put you on a more brighter path? What would be some of your leadership moments that you can share with us on how that worked for you?
Fred, what I will tell you is that I got involved in a program here connecting myself and Anahita. Anahita is our diversity and inclusion manager. And why I gravitated to that is because I had been working a lot on those programs on diversity and inclusion, what it means to be inclusive. Here at Daimler, we're always trying to figure out how we can be more inclusive and how we can better service the people, right? And she was digging, like, oh, what's this, what's that, like, what's your passion, Why am I thinking about it? Because last year I ran for a Hillsborough school board and lost. And so that's some of the questions that I get asked now too, It's like, well, you lost, why do you keep running? Again, man, if I had given up before in the past, I wouldn't be here. There's no such thing as giving up. There's such a thing as taking a break, which is a little different. But there's no such thing. For me, in my eyes, there's no such thing as giving up. I haven't given up until this point, and I'm not going to start now.
So I've got a question for you, Alex.
No, thank you.
We here work in a global organization, and sometimes we feel like we're stuck in a rut, that we want to make change, we want to be a leader, but it's hard. You feel like a tiny speck here. What would you give it as advice for people who are kind of feeling that way?
Well, aside from not giving up, is keep trying. I don't know if some of you may not know this, and I don't want this to sound the wrong way, but I applied to 20 different jobs before I moved out to become a senior supply chain analyst for the supply management group. And it's not because I just wanted out of the group. Sandy, you're a great boss, just so you know. David, you guys know that. But it's because I wanted to better myself, right? I wanted to get to know other parts of the company. And we have an opportunity here at Daimler to do that, being a global company. But I would say don't give up, keep trying, and try to explore different opportunities too, right? Because what you want may not be the exact type of position that's best for you. Go around it, right? There's other opportunities out there. So for me, I went from engineering CAD to mechatronics, and then I found my way to the supply management group, right? Because my background, being in CCI, cost continuous improvement, and being a planner in the past, I was kind of led to that group. So don't give up. Just keep exploring all the opportunities. Talk to people. Stay in touch with people. When you think they're not watching, they'll throw something at you and say, hey, Alex, you did this and that. Good job. Like, whoa, what? Where'd that come from, So always pay attention to what you're doing and how you're doing it.
One of the things that I think you have been very successful at is being the chair for LEAP. And leading LEAP takes leadership skills that you need because you lead people over that you don't have any power over them, right?
Thank you.
So
Yeah.
you have to convince these people to follow your lead. And I think you have been very successful in that. What would be the tips that you will tell people how to lead people that they don't have any power over?
Help people be understood. Understand their problem or their concern. For me, it's one of those things where I can come up to you and say, what's your problem? But I'm up here, right? Looking down at him. His demeanor is like, get off me, right? So what if I sat down next to you like this? Hey, what's going on? How can I help you? Right? One of the things that I like to tell people outside of work is that working with engineers is really tough, especially when you want to get information out of them, right? So when I was working in cab or in mechatronics, one of the hardest things for me to do was to try and understand what an engineer wanted to do with certain paperwork. What are you trying to tell me? Well, I already told you, I gave you the numbers. Okay, but then I would go sit down with them and have a one-on-one and try to figure out what their concern is. Because essentially, if I help you, you help me. And at the end of the day, we want to figure out how to get the end product, right? So just trying to learn what other people have in their head.
Hey, Alex, I got a question from the webinar Q&A.
Cool.
Fernan asks, how did you know that everything you were doing would be worth it?
You don't know if it's worth it, you know? But what I do know is that everything that I've done has been a ray of sunshine. I know it sounds kind of cliche, but it is. Because I didn't expect to have a kid when I was 15, right? But now she's 24. She's a headhunter for for Daimler at a different outside company. So she works for one of our contractors. And she has two of my great grandkids, right? So, yeah, I don't, yeah.
Do you have any either particular resources or books or things that you've done to kind of grow yourself in leadership over the years?
Let's see here. One of the books that has helped me was Thinking Culturally. I'll get you the right name for that. Thinking Culturally, Leadership Path, and Strength Finders. I know Strength Finders is not so much of a book, but if you're trying to figure out what your skill set is, Strength Finders is a good one to get. For me, it was kind of obvious. I was a wooer, right? That's being in front of people, or if Luke is a little shy, then, hey, Luke, come on, man, I want to talk to you. I want to learn more about you. What's up, man? How's it going? Nice to see you again. All right. But he hasn't even said anything. But we're good. We're good, right? So that's who I am. I'm a wooer. Try to get people out of their shell and try to get them to talk to me. And although he didn't talk to me, we made a connection. Toastmasters. See? It's remembering where you're coming from and remembering where you're going to go. Because Luke and I met years ago in Toastmasters, and I hadn't seen him since until today. So thank you, Luke. But I will get you, there are some books that have definitely helped me out. I'll bring them.
So we got another question from the webinar. So you mentioned you were running for office.
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't it be better if you were running for a different party? Was the question.
Would it be better if I was running with a different party? Like what, the communist group, or? I'm kidding. I know what they're alluding to. Would it have been easier? I have no idea. I just know that for myself, I consider myself more conservative than a liberal, right? My views, my family, the stuff that I've done in the past, you know, I think one group would probably be like, oh yeah, you know, but you know, I'm trying not to get too much into politics here, but I will say this. Okay, I'll answer it like this. Within a certain group, I feel more supported and more thankful to have been in that group than I do with the other. That's what I can say, without smashing either side.
Very political answer.
There you go. Thanks.
All right. Well, it looks like we're tapped out of questions here.
Yeah,
So
thanks,
again,
Tori.
thank you, Alex. This is
Of course.
great to have
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
Again, we'll be posting this stuff on the social intranet. We'll get these out there. And Alex, yeah, those books, we'll post that out there. So if you're interested in trying to follow Alex's path, we'll have some of that out there. So thank you again. This is much appreciated, and Leadership Network looks forward to having you at more meetings.
So
Thank you.
a shameful plug real quick, alexanderfororegon.com. That's, in case you're wondering and want to know more, there you go. Thank you.
So, if you're wondering who I am, the actual Leadership Network chair. So thank you, Tyler, for your efforts today, and David Tran back there on the AV makes all this possible for future. Thank you very much for your speaking today. One last closing item would be if you had to give a call to action to leaders within the company, leaders within their community and their family, what would that call to action be to go forth and do?
I would say is get involved. Mike has done a tremendous job of trying to get the STEM program going. Jose has done the STEM program. And I know there's a few other folks here that are very involved, is get more involved. We as ERGs, employee resource groups, need your help. We not only need your help to get out there and spread the word, we need you to get involved and tell them why you're wanting to get involved, right? Don't just get involved because Alexander Flores said so. Get involved because one, you mean it, one, you want to, and three, you feel the calling to it, right? So for me, to you guys is figure out if there's a nonprofit organization out there that needs your help. You all carry a certain amount of skills, or else you wouldn't be here at Daimler. You're all smart people. Find out if there's a nonprofit organization that you can get involved in, or find out how Jose can use your help, David, any other nonprofits out there, and any of the employee resource groups out here, because getting involved in either your nonprofit work or your employee resource group will definitely teach you some life skills and leadership skills.
Thank you. And you can join Toastmasters and be such a great speaker, just like.
No, thank you. No. Thanks. I appreciate it.
So yes, thank you all for coming. The social site, like I said, this is where we're going to load the video and audio to be separated, so you can share this with your other colleagues who didn't have the opportunity to see this. And we're looking to do monthly items and tasks. And once again, if anyone does want to partner, I'm always looking for people that have interesting things in the leadership vein, especially that they would like to see happen. And, it takes a village, and the ERGs in this company and anywhere are only as good as the people that participate in them. So I can sit here and do what I think's right all I want, but then it's going to be what I think. So really, you get what you put into it. So, please be in contact, and I look forward to seeing you in the future.